go.
This is a portal connecting our reality with alternate space-time continua.
Correct. You know, I'm a 45-year-old space nerd.
West Coast Power Hour.
Your things look hot.
Power Hour.
There is a space age quality to them.
They're all we can afford.
We think right here is the way to go.
You know, free.
Galactic Coast Power Hour.
Welcome to the Galactic Coast Power Hour with John Ennis and Mighty Mike Taylor, the Galactic Guys.
Each and every one of us is a crew member here on Spaceship Earth.
On Vinyl Draft Radio.
That is right. This is the Galactic Coast Power Hour, but we traded the ACU of Texas studio on the top floor of the historic Gemini building just down the street from the home of human spaceflight for the brand new Texas Room private event space at Saloon Brewing. Yep, we are back on the road and broadcasting live just feet away from a brewery tap wall, so life is good. Well, at least the next 60 minutes will be great. My name is John Ennis, and tonight, my brother in brew, Mighty Mike Taylor, is absent. I believe, last I heard, he was backpacking through Italy. But no worries, as we have our sister in brew, Sylvia, the beer-fed mother of Draft Queens Radio, back on the show for the first time in a long time to fill in for Mike. How goes it, Sylvia?
Hey, I'm glad to be back, even if it's only for a day.
You know, it kind of feels like we have the band back together.
It does.
Of course, minus our lead guitarist.
Yeah, I know. I'm happy to be here.
So the over-under on F-bombs drop during tonight's episode has decreased significantly with Sylvia replacing Mike.
I can't guarantee that.
So as mentioned, we're coming to you live from Saloon Brewing right in the heart of Webster. Well, I guess technically it's like, what, the southwest corner of Webster?
I still call that the heart.
I call it the heart because I would argue the I-45 freeway is the main artery. And
It's the liver.
And I believe the brewery is the centerpiece of any community. So this is the heart of Webster.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And joining us, okay, so and if we were at Saloon Door, that must mean our guests, doubling as our generous host tonight, are Alexander the Acceptable Weber.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Yeah, you're so this is your third time on the
I
show.
think this is my third time on the show.
This is Joshua Anderson's second time on the show.
Glad to be here.
And making his Galactic Coast Power Hour debut is the current Scene Magazine Commercial Brewer of the Month, Luis Barrera.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Welcome to the show.
So, hey, first of all, let's talk about we're in a couple months ago. This was a neighbor of Saloon Brewing, and now it's actually part of the Saloon Brewing empire.
Yeah.
The Texas Room. So it's a private event facility.
Yeah, it is. We opened it up, I think, officially just this last month. But we were getting it all prepared over the turn of this year and stuff. And so, I think January was when we were finally getting all the stuff on the wall. And I think actually my dad's 60th birthday party was the first thing we threw in here.
Kicked it off.
Oh, nice.
Happy birthday. Nice.
So the concept is it's overflow in case we're having something in the main space that people want a different vibe. And then we have the option to do a private party here. And if we have a private party here, then people can be over there. And if someone wants to rent out the other space, it can be open here. So
Genius.
All kinds of flexibility. I mean,
Right.
you almost have to be that way this day and age.
Yeah, and we got access along the shared wall, so it's open in the front, so you can still get to the bathroom. It's open back there for a direct access to the bar, and we have the big barn door in front of our main projector screen over in here. And so when we have this as spillover space, we'll open up the barn door. People come and hang out here. When you want to have this as your private event space, we'll go ahead and close that barn door. Now you've got your spot, and there's the main spot out there for everyone else to still hang out.
We finally have an office.
Yeah,
and you don't share a wall with a neighbor anymore, which I imagine that's a plus.
Nice.
And stopped complaining about our music.
We got 2 extra parking spots too.
Yeah, right. I noticed that. Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but today, obviously we're in a relatively new part of the brewery, but also you're celebrating a new beer release today. Is that correct, baby? A little bit. Is that what I read on Facebook? I don't know. Maybe.
So we do this thing called Throwdown Thursdays, where Josh and I and Lewis, we've thrown our heads together on coming up with crazy, wacky ideas to make different beers out of, and we'll just fill up random ones with all sorts of crazy stuff that we come up with, and then we'll throw it back in the cooler, and then the bar staff is like, oh, hey, here's a little goodie. Thursday time, I'm going to put this keg on.
Yeah, we've been getting a little more experimental and taking more chances, taking more risks. It's been fun. It's just kind of getting back to the roots of why we did this in the first place, to be creative and be artistic and, you know, you're going to have some hits and wins, you're going to have some mistakes, but
Yeah.
it's all about getting feedback and understanding what people like, and we all put our heads together. Lewis, Alex, and I were like, let's try this out. Hey, we think it's pretty good, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and this week's actually is it's the Fluffernutter Russian. So like we made that peanut butter marshmallow imperial cream ale, and it was a bomb hit. And we're like, all right, so this is pretty cool. Let's give it a try on the Russian too. We threw that in here, and that's what we have on tonight. And I had a glass of it earlier, and like it's good.
Awesome. Mike's gonna be so pissed he's missing a
I
RIS
know.
release. Yeah.
I was just thinking about him. So that's the what is it? I Must Break You.
Yes, it is.
Base.
I Must Break
Yeah.
You
Okay,
with
gotcha.
peanut butter and marshmallows. And I've got actually a friend who's from the Northeast, and she went like crazy when we displayed that we were going to make a peanut butter marshmallow thing. It's like, oh, I gotta come get that. And I've seen like a lot of like similar posts on all of our stuff. It's like, oh,
I didn't realize that was so popular. Like, we were just like, let's just do this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. People are going crazy. Okay. Good move.
Well, I always wonder about the balance, you know, and you kind of mentioned you didn't know that it would be as popular. And, of course, one of your, I would argue, probably the beers you're best known for was something I think, you know, you told us the first time you were on the show that you didn't realize that would be such a hit, like
Never
the Tasty
imagined.
AF, right?
Never imagined a million years.
So, and I imagine, I mean, you guys could probably, there's a big enough demand for it. I mean, I see it everywhere in bars and restaurants. I mean, you know, so I imagine you're brewing big batches of that all the time. So,
Oh, yeah.
So you have to kind of balance that because you have to keep that going, right? You got to keep throwing the wood in the fire, right? I mean, keep that thing burning, but then also, to make time to get creative and kind of work other things around that, huh?
Honestly, we haven't had the ability to be creative in a long time. Like, we've made that happen.
We made a monster, and then we had to keep up with it.
Right.
It's tough to be creative when you're like have a demand for something like that.
Yeah.
You're right. And sometimes you just got to like step back and be like, we're going to just take a break for a second and hope that everybody understands, and we're going to play around.
Have a little bit of fun, and then go back to doing what the people ask for.
Yeah.
Because you're on one hand, it's all about consistency, right?
Yeah.
With what the people, but then on in the consistency versus creativity, it's almost like two different. They don't
They're
go
in
hand
opposite
to hand.
directions. They fight each other.
Right, right. So it's like wow.
So what would you consider the craziest beer that you guys have done? I mean, there's a lot of things on the tap wall right now. There's at least 20 beers here on tap at any given times. Your mainstay, your ambers, your wheats, your cream ales, and then on top of that, all of your bourbon beers.
Yeah, I think
you guys have y'all have a huge, vast portfolio.
We've made a lot of stuff. I think that sour cherry that we did.
That was pretty weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I was really hard on it the day we
one.
offered it up, and Sylvia's like, "You're being too hard on it." And then I had it like 5 days later. I was like, "It's actually not that bad."
Was this the cherry
the
stout?
sour cherry Russian?
Yeah.
We were just playing around. But I mean, we've done a lot of crazy things. I think it's relative. I think depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
I don't even know. The most exciting times are doing something new, like something we've never done. Mm-hmm. It's also a very anxious time.
Yeah.
You're worried.
Yeah. But you're still doing, the classic style, so you're still, opening the door for the approachable beer that someone's new, or maybe I find that a lot of new craft beer drinkers are going towards the crazy stuff first, right? They're attracted to the flavors that they're used to. I mean, who hasn't had a s'more and loved a s'more, right?
Oh yeah, truth.
Or even the Wyatt Perp.
The Wyatt Perp was a great beer.
I love that beer. That was fun.
So
Yes.
much pineapple. That was the first time we did a fruit
That was,
beer. That was like
Sylvia pushing me out of my comfort zone there. I love it.
Like that was the first time we did that much fruit in a beer, and that was crazy.
Now was that the collab with the
that was the collab with the
beer tasting
Beer Tasting Houston. We did
I
a
wouldn't-
collab last year. Mm-hmm.
Never would have done that if it hadn't been for Sylvia. She was like, I think we should do this. I was like, oh, boy.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
But then she's like, here, I got this guy who'll hold your hand. That guy happened to be Val. I'm like, okay. No, he helped a lot.
Everybody loves Val, and he holds everybody's hand.
He held my hand. He's like, Josh, I got your back, man. I'm like, okay. And he's a big part of why that beer turned out so well.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. Well, we haven't really announced this at all either, but I'll be up here on the 23rd brewing with Josh. Will be my first official collaboration with Josh. We're going to brew an IPA. We haven't announced it on the socials yet, but I guess here we are.
Breaking news.
Yeah. But anyways, we're going to be posting some more stuff about it. But IPAs, I mean, the scene has changed on IPAs, don't you think? I mean, is everyone getting exhausted with hazy IPAs, or is it just me?
I mean,
I don't know.
I just ordered one. So.
I'll tell you what, I love IPAs. I'm not exhausted with hazy IPAs. I just like good IPAs.
Absolutely.
I don't care what they look like. I think hazy could be good, could be bad.
Correct.
Your taste buds will tell you.
Yeah, I don't need my IPA to be hazy. If it is hazy and it's good, that's great. If
Yeah,
it's not hazy and it's
double
good,
bonus.
that's great.
I'm not happy about hazy IPAs that don't taste good,
Yeah.
but I'm also
Well, it's-
not happy about any beer that doesn't taste good.
Yeah,
Me,
it's beer not tasting good that I'm not happy about.
it happens. We've done it. We were
So,
guilty.
so are you
We're
guys
guilty.
saying you don't order a beer specifically for how it'll photograph on Instagram? Is that what you're telling me?
So
Depends on who's
That's not the.
I have an Instagram because I was made to get one. I think I've posted like 8 things on it.
Yeah,
We're on Instagram right
I
now.
had a big month on Instagram when I first joined, and I've kind of fallen off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like where Silvio's going with that. So what we were thinking about doing, we were like, okay, we've been playing with hazies a lot, and we wanted to take a step back and go back to maybe a more traditional IPA, and do like a juicy, but it doesn't have to be hazy,
Close your eyes. You might think it's hazy.
and
But-
just see what you think.
Yeah.
But we've done some really good IPAs that were not hazy, and we're going a different yeast strain. We're going against all that.
Right.
Go back to a more traditional beer, just make it juicy, and who knows? I think we've actually had some really great feedback. It's been a long time. I'm excited. I'm actually more excited about this beer than I have been about anything in a long time.
And you've got some great beers on the wall. I mean, Painted Wagon is a fantastic hazy pale ale. That's one of my favorites here.
That's what I'm enjoying right now.
And Doc. I mean, how can you forget Doc?
Yeah, Doc is probably my favorite IPA on that wall.
That's my favorite, and we've been working to perfect that. Like, it's been like 6 or 7 batches. We've been tweaking it. I feel like we finally got it where we want it. We're going to keep it here.
And like I wasn't trying to rag on haziness and IPA earlier. Like we've done some tweaking and workshopping on IPAs and hazy and all that stuff. And like the haze is a real thing. Like it does affect the flavor of the beer. It's just not a flavor that I always need to have. And so that's why I like both my East Coast and my West Coast IPAs. I like just good beer.
I think haze is also something that you learn. Like we've made those mistakes. Like we've made hazy the double dock that had stuff falling out of it, and people are like, "What are these floaties?" And we're like, "Yeah,
we hadn't figured it out.
I don't
yet.
think that's supposed to be there. We're sorry."
Yeah.
And it's
that's
true.
And that's the craft
And
aspect. It's a learning process. It's an art form.
I've learned that there's stable haze, there's not stable haze, there's stuff that falls out of the beer that shouldn't be there. If you get stuff in the bottom, you know what? It doesn't mean the beer's bad.
Right.
You just got to be able to deal with that. The beer, if the beer tastes good, who cares?
Yeah, who cares what it looks like?
That's what I say. And actually, like we had stuff falling out, and it was fine.
Yeah,
It tasted
nailed
good.
it.
Yeah.
Let your taste buds tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Try to get over all that. But I mean, if the beer doesn't have stuff falling out of it, it can still be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a personal journey.
That's why blind tastings are so fun.
They're powerful, they're fun, and they are a learning experience.
Yeah.
They're crazy and wild.
You did an event that was just mind-boggling.
Yeah, we put a couple brewers up here on a panel, and we drank some beer blind, and we got to talk about it. And we tried to guess the style, we tried to guess the ABV, and it was challenging. Some of those were really challenging. Now, mind you don't get a whole lot of icebox nowadays, but but still. Would you guys like to try an IPA since we're talking about it?
I think I would like
Absolutely.
to. The
I
beer
have an
I
empty
was sipping on
glass.
is now empty. So yeah.
Perfect timing.
So I actually picked this up from one of the newest breweries in Houston, Urban South. It's an hazy IPA. So
Okay,
it's called HTX.
okay.
So
Awesome.
here,
Now, what's their story? There's an affiliate brewery in Louisiana. Is that right, or something? Or how's that? I mean, I know you had them on your show, early on.
Yeah, so they Urban South is originally out of Louisiana, but it's like the parent company. They opened up a small child company of the original, but it's all experimental beer. So they're not going to carry any of the same brands. They're not going to distribute in the same market. It's all going to be sours, a lot of IPAs, a lot of, they're going to have a stout program, all this stuff, but, still kind of same brand. And it's actually Marin and Justin who are the former brewer and marketing director at B52. So they left B52 and kind of started back with Dave, who's an old, he's not old, I mean, kind of old veteran of the Houston beer scene. So they're really cranking out some stuff. So I picked up this can during the VIP tasting. So hope you guys like it. Yeah. Is it too early to talk about the other double IPA that you guys are releasing here pretty soon to market as well? Say
Seems
when?
like a good segue to me.
Boom. That would be the say when. So you're asking when we should start talking about the say when?
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about IPAs, and I'm very much looking forward to that traditional double IPA, coming back.